Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Intuitive Insights in Tarot. I'm Scott, and Honey's joining me. It's another session of Honey C and me. Hi, Honey. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Um, in my
Good.
living room still. It's starting to heat up again. We're getting going to get to 95, but the mornings are about 72, so I can sit here in my living room once again. And I see you're indoors. It's too cold.
Yeah. Well, we have to run the generator to get the electric because we're on solar. So the electric heater doesn't really work at night. And I decided I don't really like propane. So
Oh yeah.
I'm in the house. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw you recently with Z, and I saw you were in your little studio there. I love that setting that you're in there. So, but this is okay too.
It's
And
comfortable.
I really enjoyed your talk with Z about origins of mankind and that. I didn't get to watch it all, but I enjoyed it. So
Yeah, I really liked it.
today I thought we should talk a little bit about what went on last week with these airplane crashes. And I
Okay.
just got I just was listening to Michael Jaco, who was connecting all the dots and how it's a deep state thing and all that. And I know that exists. You and I were talking before this. You thought that the the plane crash in Philadelphia might have been a missile or a rocket. Um,
Hmm.
I want to just go on the record saying why I don't think it was. I think it was a plane. Um, when you can see in the video when the plane's coming in, there's a headlight that shines its light down on the ground. I don't know why you would put that on a rocket. And then there's the debris they found that had the labeling on it. So I'm convinced that really was an ambulance. And like I
Yeah.
said, I want to say that yeah, I understand all of these codes that were involved in it, but what I want to do is look at the bigger picture. And I'm going to come to you for that, for clarity on
Okay.
that. But first, I had this thought about the first one that happened outside of Reagan National Airport. Um, as soon as that happened, I don't know why I just had this phrase popped up into my mind of rogue pilot, and I was thinking about the military pilot because it looks like inexplicably, this military helicopter, which these guys are supposed to be highly trained and ready for this, just flew right into the plane. He said many times, "I see the plane." Now, it looks like the official explanation is that when he kept telling the tower, "I've got visual," like I can't remember the wording he used, but he said, I'm going on visual. And they're like, okay. And when a pilot says that, they stop telling him what to do. Because they know that he's seeing that obstacle, and so he's going to avoid it. What they're saying is that they think that he mistakenly saw another plane that was behind that plane, and he got focused on that, like target focus. It's something that you get focused on, and then you can't see what's right in front of you because you're focused on something that's farther away. Okay. So that's one of their like the real reason why it happened. But what I want to do, and I'm going to have you help me here, is I'm going to pull cards on whoever was piloting the helicopter
Okay.
because anybody goes into the military, we know that MK Ultra is a real thing. We know that if you ever heard this guy, I think his name's Dan Brown. He's a hypnotist who has hypnotized people to commit crimes
Things. Yeah.
against their will. Like he got this one guy to take what he thought was a real gun and assassinate someone. Um, or was it? somebody who had an agenda, or what was the agenda. So, anyways, I'm going to look at the human factor and why did the pilot seemingly just fly right into this aircraft? And and then you're going to fill in any gaps that I may have with the cards, right? Okay, now
Okay.
I don't know the name, so I'm just gonna, and I realize that there's a pilot and a co-pilot, so there might be two people responsible because one person might be looking at gauges and like for elevation, but really this is the person who's got the sticks in their hands. That's who I'm looking at here. All right. Okay, so this is the pilot. Okay, that's interesting. High priestess. That right away, that tells me that this person was maybe even like had been possessed by like something was from like the spiritual control of some sort, right? And if you look at this strength, think of the lion as being the weapon of war, the aggressive thing, and it's being controlled by something outside of it. Page of Wands, King of Pentacles, and the outcome is the Ten of Pentacles. Two of Cups and Seven of Pentacles. All right, so honey, I really am getting the feeling that this was something that was planned out by a deep state, a, a hidden controller, and that they used some type of other form of energy manipulation, whether it was like witchcraft or technology that was used to take over this pilot and to take out all these lives. It was so I'm going to pause there because look, with this being the pilot, I really don't think that the pilot was under their own control, that they were being controlled by something, another power.
So can you get a yes or no answer out of your
I, I,
cards?
I can. I've got, yeah. What's your question?
Okay, so the question is, was the pilot in the helicopter or were they outside of it?
Oh, okay. Um,
So were they in it?
like you mean like
Yeah,
oh, was anybody in the helicopter at all? Was it being,
yeah,
mhm. No, no.
yeah. Because
This
that's
is
what I got when I looked at it the first time. It was
okay.
empty. It was remote control.
That makes sense with what I got here.
Yeah,
Uh,
it does. It fits right in with what your cards you drew as well. Yeah.
so whoever was in the helicopter could have been incapacitated by like sleeping gas or something like that. You know what I mean? Because
Eh,
they found the bodies, supposedly, right?
yeah, supposedly. I feel like it was just empty.
No, that makes perfect sense. It was something that was long planned out, by the way.
Yeah.
There was long planning. Okay, that makes total sense because the high priestess, that could be a remote control, some controlling from a distance.
Hmm.
Now, this Ten of Pentacles is the outcome. Unfortunately, I'm getting it was a major loss of life for a reason, possibly. So I'm thinking sacrifice, but I'm not sure from these.
Let's ask if it was that or if it was not the people that were being told it was.
Okay, well that's a possibility too with this being swapped out. So
Yeah.
So you're saying that the list of passengers that were on the passenger flight was not who we're being told it was?
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel like the same people. So to me, it's more like a total illusion, but
Mm.
that doesn't mean that there weren't people there. But who were they really? Were they actually people that were supposed to be gone anyway?
Well, the only thing I
Now,
got, I drew these two cards, and I'm thinking there might have been somebody on the plane who was connected to the military deep state, and that might have been the actual target,
hmm,
but I'm not sure. Ten of Pentacles.
I don't know if they totally want us to know. How long ago did that happen? Do you remember?
That 1 week.
Because
I
it's
think it's about 1 week. I think it was on a Sunday. Yeah, it was on a Sunday. So 1 week ago.
so it's right before the third and the fourth density completely peeled off.
Uh-huh.
It's also a predicted event from The Simpsons, I think. Um, as well as letter 17. I don't know if we can say that even on YouTube yet, but um those two
Excuse
also
me, honey. I want
predicted
to
it.
interrupt you. I'm going to try something different on
Sure.
my YouTube channel. Don't censor yourself. I mean, except for a very
Okay.
extreme, go ahead and let it out because I don't think I'm going to get in trouble. And even if I do, the worst I'll get is a 7 day ban. Okay. And I
Okay.
want to take that risk because I want to push the envelope here. I want to see what we can get away with on YouTube. Okay. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, I think it was a predicted event from Q. I saw that later. And then I also saw it on TikTok with The Simpsons. So to me, it feels like an organized event, and it might have been kind of the end of more negative.
Okay.
Doesn't feel like that timeline really exists here anymore,
Okay.
but also California had to do with the more negative timelines as well.
Okay. That resonates with me. And with completion, that makes sense with the Ten of Pentacles. Completion and yeah, that's about all I got with that.
Somebody says, Lacey's like, oh, those Simpsons. Yeah. So the Simpsons had the 4D, what's that called? Looking glass.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yep. That's where they got
Okay.
their information.
All right. And like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I think you're right, and I think that's what my cards picked up on, that the Black Hawk was remotely controlled.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, and then they were able to do some good things out of it. Trump did some different things out of it, like fix the whole drama at the FAA
Hmm.
and did a lot of different hiring things. So they used it for good in the long run.
Let's see. I'm looking at these. Yeah. Okay. So like I said, I didn't want to spend too much time on this. Um, one thing, it was like my intuition was picking up on this, that we had these two plane crashes that happened so closely together, and and the first one that was a commercial plane, that was the first commercial airplane crash in like 16 years or something like that.
It was a
Um,
long time. Yeah.
right, and suddenly that brings it into the human consciousness, and I think that we've entered into a period, and you see this and you explain this in different terminology, but it's going along with what I'm saying. Um, there's a everything exists in a quantum state. That means that everything that could happen is happening all at the same time, and it's our human consciousness that focuses on that that collapses it into a reality. And we've gotten to a point where that's happening much faster now. So when you have a big event like the first plane crash, now you got all these millions of people thinking airplane crash, and that allows another one to happen. All right. Um, I think another example is the fires. The one in Hawaii, and then the one in LA. It sets up these things. They have an energy of their own, and then we feed into that energy. So I guess what I'm trying to say to people is when you have a big national event like this, a worldwide event, don't react to it on an emotional level. Try not to give it your energy. Just look at it like it's a movie that's happening, and don't try not to have an emotional reaction to it. So like people will say, "Oh, I cried all last night because I'm worried about the cats and dogs in LA," or whatever it is. That's feeding this negative timeline that we don't want to do that. We want to detach ourselves from that. So just wanted to make that observation.
It creates an energetic cord, so you can break that cord as well, too. So if you did have an emotional reaction, then break the cord and then start looking at it from a distance.
Yeah, try to look at the bigger picture. This is what enlightenment means. When don't and I mean I understand things like Jaco, where he's looking at the minutiae, the details. Try not to do that so much. Zoom out. Look at the bigger picture from imagine yourself high above everything, looking down where you can see the whole picture and not just these details. I think it's time for us to get away from those types of decodes and looking at the minutia and looking at the bigger picture. And remembering that everything that happens for our highest good. Okay,
Mhm.
now let's go on to something a little bit lighter, more fun to talk about. Um, and this is we don't we I'm gonna be in America for sure. Well, I haven't bought my ticket yet, but I'm planning to be in Pennsylvania at Pine Grove Furnace for an Appalachian Trail reunion. That came up after I first planned my trip to America. Then I saw that this reunion was happening, and so now I decided I have to be there for that. So I'm going to plan everything around that, which just happens to be just days before this Iowa fair or whatever it was supposed to be happening. All right, which if that happens would be perfect timing for me. Okay, so I'm definitely coming to America for that. And now this is all up in the air, honey. We still haven't gotten a date for the World's Fair, the Iowa Fair. And I just want to take a moment now for us to try to bring that into fruition. How can we do that?
Basically, just ask for it to exist and let the universe take care of it. There's so many people planning on going that, and it's already been mentioned. I think it's already created. And what happens is it kind of floats out there while we go through timeline after timeline. And then once things get settled in, it gets anchored in.
Right.
So it's not quite anchored yet, but I do believe it's still happening. And I can see it out there. It floats like a little island. There's all these people that are really interested in it. So it's there, just waiting.
Okay,
Yep.
well, honey and I were just talking about this before I came on. We came on, and I'm definitely going to be in Pennsylvania for that. And then no matter what happens with the fair, I'm heading west from there. And I'm going to meet up with Honey. We'll find a place somewhere, or maybe I'll come all the way to Colorado. I don't know. And we're going to have our event. Hopefully, you and I will get together and as many of
Yeah.
you can show up as possible. And then I'm going to do like I'm going to travel around the United States, hopefully. So this is real quick for those who are wondering about my trip. I'm going to go directly to Florida now. From Florida up to Pennsylvania, from Pennsylvania over to Iowa, and then come back down and get my return flight home from Orlando. So if you're in that area and you want to set up a reading with me, I think I'm going to be charging around $100 an hour for those. I'm getting close to that, just to give you guys an update on that. Okay?
Some. Okay. Oh, I don't know if I'm frozen or you're frozen. Maybe I'll answer a question. Okay.
And
So
it looks
Scott's
like we're
frozen.
back
So
on. Yeah, looks
yeah,
like Scott's still frozen.
yeah, Scott's frozen. Okay. So I'm just going to answer a question while we wait for him. Oh, he's
Whoops,
gone.
yeah. We lose him?
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully the show's still on and maybe he can come back in. So let's see. Yeah, there is going to be justice for everybody. Oh, okay. Hang on. He's calling. Hello?
Booting. There we go.
Oh, you're
Oh, we're
coming back
back.
in now. Okay, I'm gonna end the
Ooh.
call. Okay.
Well, I said I
That was
wanted to
crazy.
push the algorithms. So I don't know, maybe I got somebody's attention
Yeah.
there. We got somebody's attention there.
Okay. So let's see if we're back or not.
Did we get knocked off
Um,
of YouTube?
You're both still
I
on
don't know.
YouTube.
Okay, hold on.
You've been on
Sheree.
the whole time. Yeah, you've been on the whole time. We
Okay.
We're
had
on.
Honey when we
Okay.
lost you.
Oh, so it was just chaos there for a minute. Okay. So yeah, justice for everybody. Sorry, guys.
All right. So
Okay.
thank you for verifying that, Sheree. Now I was in the middle of I'm not sharing screen now, right? No.
No.
That's what screwed through me too, because I just hit the share screen button and then all of a sudden everybody was gone. I'm like, what happened?
Maybe your Wi-Fi can't handle that right now. Let's
No, I think
see.
it's okay now. All right. So
Okay.
can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying something different. Now for a limited time, you may choose 30-minute, 60-minute, or 90-minute sessions that are 25, 45, and $60 respectively. Okay, and to book, you click here, and this will take you to another app, a booking app, and you'll notice you can, if you wanted a 90-minute, you'd have to book three slots together like that. Okay, and all the times that you see here will be in your local time zone. All right, and and what else? I think that was it. And then you come down here, and this is where you go to buy me a coffee to pay. All right. Okay. And I really would like to get some more clients because I'm bored in the mornings. I have nothing to do. Um, and speaking of coffees, and it's time to get to the questions. We're right on time at 9 o'clock. And honey, speaking of coffees, I have a question from one of our viewers. who sent me her question through Buy Me a Coffee. Let me see if I can find it. Just a minute. Guess I should have had this open and ready. Apologize for that.
No worries.
Um, and while I'm doing this, going back to what I was talking about before, honey, I think we're going to be seeing more major events that are like the hurricane in the Carolinas and the fires. I think there's going to be more of that happening because it seems like humanity needs to learn some lessons. Am I right there? Do you think more there we're going to be seeing more and more people who are choosing not to be here for the ascension time?
There are people that are choosing not to be here, but with the split away, most of those went already. So most of those people are already gone. As far as like more biblical type weather stuff, feel like it's gonna fizzle out actually, because it's time to
Really?
get positive now. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's time to kind of people are waking up in a lot of different ways. They're waking up because of Hollywood. They're waking up. Dana actually mentioned the Super Bowl is about to be a big wake up
Yep.
call. And I think there's a lot of things leading up to that. And they're waking up because of politics. So I don't really feel like we're going to have too many scary things continue to happen like on a big scale.
Okay.
But maybe should draw cards on that.
All right. But first, let me read this question from Jan Shears, who bought me coffees for this, and let me say thank you very much because it was a she donated more than she had to for a question. But she says, "Thank you, Scott and Honey. My divine partner and I were shown last year that we will live in southern France, Mediterranean area soon. Meanwhile, we visited a few times, but no progress. Do you have do we have to manifest more or let go of something? Thank you." And I'm gonna do cards on this while I'm doing the cards. Honey, can you
Yeah.
ready?
So I'm getting to relax because the reason it hasn't happened yet is because of all the timeline shifting. Things will be calming down over the next few months. So there'll probably be a lot of disclosure in February, I would imagine. And as that kind of calms down a little bit, it's going to get more and more real for you to go there. So just kind of let go and let God is what I'm getting.
Mhm. Let me see if I can add anything to that. Yeah, you really need to tune into your messages that are coming from your higher self. That's going to be your clue and follow your heart. Yeah, so if, in other words, and it's important that you don't try to force it to happen. It's going to be look for synchronicities. I do think that it is that your intuition that you're going to be going there is true, especially with this cups. This is water. It's lots of islands and places like that. But yeah, just tune into your higher self and follow. Look for those synchronicities that will guide you to when and where to be. Right? Okay, now I haven't even looked at the chat yet today, honey. What's going on in there? Or
So
Cherie
Colleen,
tube. So,
yeah, Colleen has a question. She just sent you a super chat. More clarity about the crash in the Potomac. What happened to the people on the plane? So some of them were her neighbors. What's
oh
the
wow,
reason for the whole thing? Yeah. So
oh
the
my,
reason was basically to go along with the prediction. Um, that was the big reason. And it wasn't necessarily in the highest good of humanity, because those timelines were still here at that point. Where are her neighbors? So I keep getting that it kind of happened, the same thing that I got happened to that Malaysia flight. All those scientists, they were basically sent to an island. So I think they're in some sort of witness protection type thing. Now, I think those people are actually in custody of the White Hats at this point.
so Colleen says that she had people who she knew were on the plane. Is that what she's saying?
Her neighbors, her neighbors.
All right, I'm gonna pull cards on where are they, since this is important. We have somebody who's watching now who had a direct connection to somebody who's on that plane. That opens up a conduit, I believe, for me to get a clearer answer with the cards. I'm going to take into consideration what Honey just said, and I'm going to see if I can. I'm gonna ask, where are they? Colleen's neighbors. Where are Colleen's neighbors now? Well, they're someplace safe and protected, honey. Now, this could be my afterlife card. I have to admit that, okay? Like a heaven card. But no, they were spirited away by government military. This is something that they agreed to beforehand. And look at that. So in this case, this is not the cabal. This is the the Q team, the White Hat Alliance. And yeah, honey, this agrees with you, I have to say. And I'm gonna be honest. I was skeptical about what you just said.
I know.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
that's
I mean,
okay.
hey, well, honey, that's why I believe you and I make a good team because I try to deal with things that are very factual and scientific. Occam's razor. I'm very open to you, but I have to have that. I have to doubt you sometimes. you know. And but then but I don't doubt my cards. Uh, all right. So nothing against nothing against you, honey. But and I believe and this is advice for everybody. Don't let anybody tell you what is reality. You have to use your own discernment. Take what other people say, honey, and I say, and then filter it through your own consciousness, and then come up with your reality. Okay. But yeah, honey, my
Yeah.
cards agree with that. This was something that they had agreed to beforehand. They were whisked away by some other like secret military flight, and this was all um, part of the White Hats doing for some reason that I'm not quite sure of yet.
Yeah, it's like they usurped the process, you know, like they let the crash still happen.
Oh,
However, they how real the actual but so
okay. We
oh,
we lost you.
you're
We
not
lost.
frozen now.
Yeah, we lost a
Okay.
few of the words. I think we got most of what you were saying.
Okay.
All right, and thank you, Colleen. Wow, that's that's it's kind of a synchronicity there that we have a viewer here who has that direct connection. Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, what statistically, what are the odds? I mean, there are only what, 40 people on the plane? I mean,
Well,
this
I mean,
this
everything happens for a reason.
I know, but this is the type of thing that blows my mind that there's only how many people watching right now? What, 50 or 60? That's usually about what it is, something like
There's
that. Even if,
182.
okay, 182. So 182 people watching, 40 people on the plane, millions of people. The odds, if you were to calculate the odds, it would be one in hundreds of thousands. It would be like getting a royal flush in a poker hand. So there's a something meaningful to that, Colleen.
Yeah. Okay. So, hi, Elisa. So
Oh,
I'm going to
hi,
get back.
Lisa.
So Tracy's in here asking a question.
Oops,
I
sorry.
have a neighbor who lives below me and he never got along to the point where it gives me anxiety. Is there a contract? Yes.
Okay.
Go break it.
Who was this for?
Definitely go break it. For Tracy Gardner.
Tracy Gardner.
Yeah, she's got a contract with him. So if you have angst with people, go break contracts. It's not hard. You just ask, you can actually just say it while you're sitting there. You want to be kind of serious, but break those contracts. Oh, um, and then you want one from Cheryl?
Yeah, in fact, honey, I'm gonna let you. I want to go back in the chat and read stuff I've missed. And while I'm doing that, can you just kind of MC the chat?
Yeah.
And
So Cheryl says, "Honey, I heard there was an ET that died on the helicopter." I get no.
yeah,
Yeah, I get it was just empty. Um, and Lucy says she's trying to wrap her mind around the NPCs and how many there are. A lot of them we create. So when they told us there were 8 billion people on the planet, we created more NPCs, more traffic, more crowds. So a lot of people are holographic. If you don't know them, then a lot of times they don't really exist. You're just making people around you to feel comfortable. If you do know them, then they're most likely not an NPC unless they are a human with a human soul only. And that's a different kind of NPC. They still have a soul, they're just easily programmed. So they have a hard time coming out of the matrix. Like they just don't get it.
I'm going to mention the late Lady T. I don't know the people who you're talking about, Tiffany Haynard, and uh, and so I'm not going to take this question, but I just want to tell you that I thank you because you're a big supporter, and I usually take all your questions, but I'm going to pass on that one. Scott is frozen. Scott is frozen.
Yeah.
There's this.
Do you,
Let's go to that super chat that came up there from Miss
okay,
Sovereign.
down at the bottom. Um, with the hiring freeze, this affects the national parks. What is the future of the national parks?
That's a great
That's
question,
a
and I'd like to talk about this first because
yeah.
I when I was in America before I came here, I was touring national parks. That was what I did for my in my free time. I went to every national park in Florida by the time I left. And I saw there was this federalization that was happening, not just national parks, but other national lands like wildlife reserves and stuff. They were starting to make you have to pay where they were free before. There was more law enforcement present. It just felt oppressive. It felt like the federal government or the deep state was going in and starting to take over all these places. Um, So I want to read the question again. So you now I don't know about the hiring fees, which affects the future of our, but yeah, what is the future of our national parks, honey? And while I draw cards, I want to have
So,
you.
okay. My higher self says they're going to expand, to remember that we will be sovereign and also that we will be responsible in the future. So that will be some people's kind of like their humanitarian type project. There's a lot of hidden things in the national parks, and we will now have access to the whole park versus just a little bit of it. And we will be asked to walk with respect. So just like a Native American would basically not leave anything behind, not leave trash, not take anything, that's how they're going to be in the future. Like, we're going to be, how do you say that? Like, responsible, but really aware of how we treat the national parks. Respectful.
Yeah, first we have to realize that the entire Earth needs to be treated as a national park.
Mhm.
Okay, we have the world, and there's going to be a returning of the land back to the people. This is much like what you were just saying, honey. Um, and learning a new way to be more sensitive to nature. Um, and this gives me an idea, a vision I have for how we could live on Earth in a more peaceful way to be in alignment with nature. And some people don't like this idea. They think it's terrible, but mega cities. So I've had a vision in my mind of what cities could and should look like. We have the scientific ability now, or the technical ability now, to build these. Imagine something like the Eiffel Tower, but a mile tall, that could house 100,000 people, and it's got a very small footprint on the ground. So it's just got four pods, 4 feet on the ground, and all of our living and work and everything that we do would be up in these huge buildings that could house hundreds of thousands of people, and that would free the earth to go back to being natural. So you would have these like wild places, savannas, but also you would have farms down there, and you would have homesteads. You'd still have some people who live on the land, especially the native peoples who always live that way. They would get their land back. They're the ones who should be living on the land. And the rest of us, we would be living in these towers, but they wouldn't be like cold, sterile places. There would be parks and outdoor places there too. But this would free up the earth, the land, to go back to its natural self. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's a beautiful
I
picture for mankind to live that way with the earth in without disturbing it.
hmm. One thing to remember is we don't have as many people here as we think we do. So the population is, once we decide, okay, we don't actually need NPCs around us, we can just be us, then that's going to change everything. But I've seen massive regreening of cities, a lot less cities, and a whole lot of green space in the cities. So that's going to be very different in the future. Um, so Elisa wants you to pull cards for her, but I
Yep,
don't
that's what.
see if she has it. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting ready to do that right now. Just make sure there are no burning questions in the chat.
Okay. Hi, Dana. I see Dana's in there too.
I did.
Awesome. All
All
right.
right.
So,
Here's a special one for Elisa, all right? This is a general reading for Elisa.
okay.
Knight of Swords, Seven of Swords, Hanged Man in the past. So, Elisa, I know you had been away for a while, taking a break from being in the public eye for a while, but now's the time for you to get back into action. Okay, this is like a call to action. Your unique view of events is needed now for people by people. um, you see things in a unique way or unique from a unique position that other people can't see. And let's see, five.
She's really strong too. So that Empress right there.
Yeah,
It's just, yeah.
and trying to figure out this five here.
Lisa has a new
Anytime
job right now.
she has a new
She
job.
said, yeah, she's working with a relative right now.
Okay, so when you work with relatives, so working with family sometimes can be hard. So I think you have to remember that we have to do things sometimes to get along in this world. But this is going to free you up so that you can have more time, I think, for doing your outreach work. It's just important that you have a message to bring to people. But yeah, the Empress and you're doing actually you're doing a lot of work when you're sleeping. So this is like the what you have to do in the physical world to to survive, to make money and stuff. But you're doing a lot of work in the astral plane. Maybe Honey can expand on that a little bit. But this Honey, this is a dream state. So when she's in a dream state, she's much more powerful than what she is here.
Mm.
And having I feel like having to work with family is something that she has to do that she doesn't really want to be doing that. So she may be feeling unsatisfied with what she's doing here, but to know that on the astral plane, she's doing a lot of things. Okay,
Yeah,
Elisa?
she is. She's doing tons in the astral plane. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just,
Um,
I think it's weird for people like that. They're these powerful beings in these other planes, but here on Earth, they're going to these regular jobs and doing these mundane things. So there's this, um, they feel disconnected.
mhm. That's how a lot of us have been. That's kind of the light worker way. We've been hidden for a long time and now we're just kind of coming out, you know? Um, so somebody asked about wood. We're not going to use wood to build in the future. No, I can't remember. The chat keeps moving on me. Let's see. They shouldn't be charging money. Okay. Oh, somebody's asking about Canada being the 51st state.
Oh,
And
that's
there was some kind of information that came out today on Truth Social. So I would look at that from Mr. T. But I do think it's happening. I think it's already happened. And it will be announced soon as they go through the drama of the tariff.
yeah. And then there's the whole thing of Canada was never really an independent country anyway. Same thing with Australia. Those are all vassals of the crown.
Yeah.
All right, I've got a
Yeah.
question here from Justin, the intuitive alchemist. I love your name, Justin. He says, "Hi, Honey and Scott. In a difficult position, a job ended, had to sell house, have a bunch of Iraqi dinar. Do I just need to rent something now? Wait a couple of days for dinar to revalue and get something better, or will I be able to buy my house? I have much until I have until March 3rd to be out." So he
Oh,
has to be out of the house March 3rd. It's not.
I mean, if the timelines stay the way that they are now, you are going to probably be able to just keep the house if that's the house you want to keep. Um, if they falter or spread out a little bit, like if we jump timelines and things kind of elongate, which I don't really think they will, but you can never promise that because it depends on the human collective. I would look into renting an Airbnb by the month and just do 1 month and then see where you're at. But honestly, I feel like you're going to be okay with
So,
what's
honey,
going on.
can this is something that I've been dreading because I've been getting in my cards for 6 months up until the end of the year. You've been saying we're all expecting something big to happen with finances by now. And to be honest with you, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna talk about it anymore as far as like, oh, it's coming, we're all gonna be having our I'm
Yeah, we
I
can't do that. Yeah, yeah,
um
I get
so
that.
I apologize to everybody. I said in every reading for the past 6 months that something big was coming as far as the monetary thing at the end of the year. It didn't happen. Um, but this is for you, Justin. I drew these cards for you. And so I think it looks like there was a timeline where you were going to have to be moving away from that area, but it looks like it's changing. This reminds me of all those timelines bunching together, like Honey's talking about all the time. But this is a sovereign. Somehow, I think you're going to be able to stay in that house. Okay. Um, I don't know exactly how that would happen. So, what did he say in the? He says, oh, let me read this again. Hold on a second. About the when he talks first, he talks about the dinar and the revaluation. I'm not even going to address that because what I just said. I'm tired of.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. Right in my lifetime. That's about all I can say about it. But he says, or will I be able to buy my house? I don't really understand that. He
You already
says,
own your house, so that's one thing too. You already own it
well, see, that's what I'm getting
because
here too
yeah,
with that.
your your treasury account, your birth money, the straw and the man account.
Say it.
Um,
Don't
okay.
pull back.
Well, last time it froze. Anyway, yeah,
That's okay.
basically it's already been paid for. So you may want to look into that a little bit while you're there, as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I get with him coming up with this King of Pentacles here. And I have to say with this, you should start planning to stay in that house. You plan. I hate doing this because I don't want to tell somebody something like that and then be false hope, right?
Well, because of the timeline shift, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's important to vibrate that you're staying right now and to go do some research and talk to some people about how that works. Action really shows the universe what you want.
So
Okay.
if you want to stay in that house and you have plans for things, like if you have plans for doing things in that house, continue making those plans. And by doing that, you're setting your intention to stay there. And I think that will help you to work it out. So
Yes.
and like Honey says, and I don't understand all this. I've never been a homeowner, but in some way you already own that house. Um, I mean, you know about squatters. What would happen, Honey, if he just said, "I ain't leaving," because the squatter, that squatter law still exists. Hey, I'm in this house. You have to physically remove me. I don't know. Just saying.
He wouldn't be able to step outside the house, it feels like.
Oh, that's right. Because then as soon as they do,
Yeah,
they change the law.
yeah.
All right. Well, good luck, Justin, with that.
Yes. So Lady T has a question.
Okay.
I met randomly a contractor at the store. He's starting a union and looking for apprentices. Have I found a reliable trainer, growth and consistent work in him? I get yes,
Right.
actually.
This could
He
be the
feels like he's a
person.
little rough around the edges, but
I remember doing readings for Honey Tea, and I think Honey Tea. Correct me if I'm wrong. I told you there was somebody who was going to be coming along, who you were going to meet, that was going to be the right person for you. And I'm I believe that this is I trust Honey on this, and I'm not going to go any deeper with the cards. I think this is the person, but you'll know it too.
yeah, you guys, like, use your pendulum. Get yes and no answers. Use the sway test and start practicing on things that don't matter to you. Like, is this person's favorite color blue or yellow? And get the answer and then go ask them. Do things like that so that you're not so attached. And then when the big questions come along, it's easier to actually get the right answer. So Renee has a super chat.
Okay. Real quick, let me say thank you, Lacey Blue, for your words of trust in me. And you've had several readings with me, and you still think I'm good. So thank you for that. All right, you want to read that, honey?
Yeah, so Renee says, my husband was offered the government buyout. Should he take it? And why are they offering these buyouts? I get yes, and the government is going to be about 10% the size that it is now. So it will be much smaller. So I'm
Do you
assuming he
understand?
works for the government.
Okay. Do you understand what that means? Government buyout. He has a private company that works that contracts for the government, and then they're going to buy that out, or
I'm assuming it's they're giving people a certain it's not a stipend. It's like we're gonna give you 8 grand to go ahead and leave now versus staying any longer. So basically, like they're buying out your contract to be there. So maybe you could say yes or no if that's the real reason you're asking that question, Renee. But that's what I'm getting. I got yes right away. And logically, what came in was it's part of the downsizing of the government.
Trump has already done a ton in that direction, hasn't he? Uh, for downsizing the government. It's just
Oh,
amazing what he's
well, and I
done.
think a lot of it was already downsized, but they're showing it now too, and it will further shrink. It'll keep shrinking. Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to read this one from Aquamarine Snow. I've never seen your name in the chat, so welcome here. Thank you. By the way, it'd really help me out, guys, if you subscribed and hit the notification button and like this video. That helps me a lot. I almost never ask for that, but you know, your subscriptions, like, they go down over time. What if you're not doing anything? I don't know if people are unsubscribed by YouTube or what's happening.
I
Um,
think so. Yeah.
but I don't want to get it. I don't want it to get below 11,100. That 111. I want to keep that. So if I can get some more subscriptions, that would be great. All right. So Aquamarine Snook says, "Hi, Honey and Scott. Could you tell me what caused the growths on my dog Wally's front leg and front right paw? Can they be treated naturally? I don't have the money to get them removed." So the big question, can they be treated naturally, Honey? You're our resident naturalist healer, or you know a lot about things in this area, even though you're not a doctor.
Yeah. So I'm not a doctor, I'm not a veterinarian, but I get that it's parasites and it's caused by parasites. I would use something called DMSO. So you're going to want to look that up. And then that's like a carrier. And I would look up what you can use with DMSO to dissolve that stuff. Basically, you want to kill them and have them leave the body. Because what
Isn't
happens is cysts form over to protect, to protect the body. Yeah.
isn't ivermectin supposed to be good for things like that?
Yeah. It's not good for every single kind though.
Okay.
So you could definitely try that, but DMSO goes directly through the skin. And a lot of veterinarians use it. So, but
Quick
that's
shout
the
out
first thing that popped in.
to Michael S. down there in down under in Australia. Um, Thanks for watching, Michael. I think it's must be really early where you're at right now. Oh no, no, that's right. He's later. He's never mind. Anyways, thank you for watching, Michael.
So there's one in here from Blade Runner. And I think this is kind of an important question to answer for a lot of people. Will I reunite with my deceased wife soon? Or will we all reunite with our past loved ones? So we will be able to have access to them. Whether they have a body or not, though, is up to them. So you may see her in more of an etheric form. Like she may not have a solid body. So that's important. We will understand that a lot better as we go forward. But the veils are pretty much gone. It's only the mind that isn't like seeing through everything. She's around you all the time. So if you have a loved one that has passed away, you have access to them now, you just don't know that you do. So I would start talking to them now. And then when you're ready, you'll actually be able to see them. And
I
it's going to
experienced
feel a lot different. Yeah.
I experienced what you're talking about right after my father passed away. I felt like I was having telepathic communications with him, and he was sending me signs in dreams and other things, and it felt like he was right there with me. I want to read what Michael sent me real quick. He says, Tarot by Janine also got that it was remote controlled, honey, which is really interesting. I don't I don't listen to any other like YouTube pundits anymore. And one reason for that is I don't want to be influenced by things I hear other people say. I want to be able to come with completely a blank slate. So it's really interesting here that Honey and I, just got this, that the helicopter wasn't remote controlled, and Janine got that as well. But she also says she said that it had a precursor or something nasty on board, needed mixed with something else. Okay, I'll just let that sit there. But here's what he says: there were 10 people on board, and people were arrested at the airport. And I got that 10 of Pentacles as the outcome that I couldn't quite
Oh
make
yeah.
up. So I wonder what was going on. I might have to go back and listen to this one after the fact now that I've done my own reading on it. So thank you for that, Michael.
Hmm. Okay, so are you ready for another one?
Yeah.
So someone in Burnaby says, could you please tell me if the videos of the concentration camps all around the world are real or just AI images?
Um,
I, as far as happening right now, I don't believe any of them are real.
I'm with you.
Um, from World War II, yeah, there were. But I don't think that's your question.
And
So
there
that was
there were
probably a really low. Go ahead.
and there were plots for that. I mean, 10 years
Hmm.
ago when remember all the FEMA camps with all the coffins,
Oh
and
yeah.
that was something real that was going to go into effect, but they never were able to pull it off.
No, and I think a lot of the lower timelines were kind of promoting that idea too. So they felt like they were in the Hunger Games, a lot of them. And that's not actually what was going on. But perception is really where it's at. Like if you perceive that something is negative when it may not actually be or not even be there, then you're creating it. So I'm glad that 4D and 3D are now peeled away because they really were pulling on, the people that were in the process of ascension. Yeah.
I think now would be a good time to repeat this. I've been saying this for a while now. It's very important that we focus our intention and attention on positive things. Um, it all these horrible things that are going on. Let's not look for them anymore. Let's look for people like the video you just did with Z recently, honey. We need to focus on positive and uplifting humanity, and recognizing that yes, bad things happen, but they all happen for our highest good, and that's what's most important here. So
Hmm.
let's not dwell on all of the evil machinations that are happening by the deep state and the cabal. Let's live as if we're done with that. You
Yeah.
understand? Honey, I know you
Because then
understand.
it fades. Then it fades away. Um, and a lot of people are still healing from the wounds of the 3D and the 4D. So just let them heal, but don't get sucked into it. So
Honey, can
Amy's
you
asking, oh, go
go,
ahead.
you go first. Go ahead.
Amy's asking, would you be able to tell me if I will be reuniting with my two daughters? If so, can you tell me when? So I got a yes and a no. I can't really tell you when, but you will be. Um, it feels like it's very fluid. Like it could be a year, it could be a year and a half. There's a lot of growth that needs to happen first, and not necessarily on your part. but just work on yourself and let it happen when it does. Yeah, it feels like it will.
Who asked that question?
Amy Mayer. Amy Mayer.
You know, that's probably one of the most common questions I get, honey, about people who've been estranged from close family and friends. Can we do one for everybody who's in that situation right now? And I'm going to do a general collect a read on the collective for everybody who feels like they've been alienated from close friends and family. Um,
Yeah, so if they've chosen to ascend and to be in the 5D, so if they still are here and they still have a soul, okay, so they haven't chosen to become an NPC, which is very rare that somebody would do that. Okay, it would usually be right before they decide to exit. So if they have a soul and they're here, then it's very, very likely that you will reconnect. But we have to remember that it's important that people take time to heal themselves. And we don't get impatient about it.
all right, I did draw some cards on it, and it's funny I get these upside down cards. I didn't realize I'd turned my cards upside down in there. And we have this arguments and debating with people about events and things like that. It's the time for waking people up has passed. Um, they People are following their own guide, their own guidelines, all right? And there's nothing, no amount of facts, no amount of videos with truther stuff is going to change anybody at this point. It's time to walk your own path and to find the things that you need to serve you going into this future. So it's time to just let people follow their own guides now because they're on their own path. It's not that theirs, for some of them, isn't going to be the same as yours. And we have to kind of let that go. All right.
Yeah, we won't have necessarily the same kind of relationships with everybody that we've had in the past because we started out in 3D and now we're in 5D. And everybody's more sovereign. So you have to realize that not only are you sovereign, but they are sovereign too. And the need to be clinging to each other is really hard on people. So just love them and let them come back when they're ready. So Lacey Blue has a interesting question.
Okay.
She's adopted and her birth father is about to find out that he has a daughter. And she's 54. How will he take it and will he reach out? I feel like it's going to be hard on him. He'll be almost afraid to reach out, it feels like. If you can reach out to him, then I would do it in a soft way. The first thing I got is that he's going to cry. So it's going to be hard on him emotionally. And it's going to take him time to like come to grips with it and absorb it. So that is going to need time as well. But he would eventually reach out unless you can reach out first.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave that with you, honey. And I don't think I need to add any more to that. Um, I want to point out that what I just said in that reading there was not my opinion. Is not what I think. I was just trying to read the cards on face value. Okay, that's what I always try to do. I try to keep my opinions out of the cards.
Well, that's what it is to be an observer, and that's what we're really doing right now. because that gives you the higher perspective.
Let me see. I saw one here. Tiffany Thomas. Hi, Scott. Hi, honey. I haven't been here in a while. I'm glad you're here now. Thank you for showing up, for making it. Um, a picture. Where? Sorry, I lost it. Question: is bellow a safe practice for belly fat trimming? I don't know what that is, but I'm interested because I'm trying to get some fat off my belly right now. I've lost like 6 pounds, by the way, in the past 6 weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I get no, actually.
Do you know what it is, honey? Have you heard of this
No, I
before?
don't know what it is. I have no idea because
Sono
I wanted it to be good. I
bellow.
wanted
Yeah.
it to be, yeah. Um, so I'm not getting that it is. Sorry. Hard on the
Um,
cells is what comes in.
what about evidently there's a new product from ASEA that's supposed to do something for your belly fat. I cannot remember what it is. I wish Frank was in the chat. Do you know what I'm talking about? I remember it's pH something. Do
Oh,
you know
I
what
don't
I'm
know, but
talking
I guess
about?
I'm gonna buy it.
Well,
Let's I'll go look.
I guess there's a conflict of interest here, but I,
Yeah,
I'm
I don't know what the other thing is either. So
wish Frank were here.
I know. I'll look for that if you want to answer the next question, if there's another one.
I'll look. But see, I'm conflicted because I've become convinced that ASEA is a real product. It's not snake oil. It really works. So if they put something out and says that this is good, I have a tendency to trust them. I have a bias towards it. Um,
Yeah, it's really helped my mother a lot. Um, Tremendous amount. I'm doing so many things that it's hard to tell what's doing what,
mhm.
but with my mom, like it's made a massive difference. So
And you're talking about the water that you drink, right?
yeah, yep.
Because I've experienced great benefits with the gel. I got burned by my massage therapist last week. They use this hot compress, and she kept putting it on my hand on this broken bone right here. She actually gave me second-degree burns, honey. I'm not going to be going back to that massage therapist again. But I
Oh,
put
that's
the ASEA gel
crazy.
on it, and man, it healed up so much faster, I think, than usual, and no pain from it. So
Wow.
I I agree that it's very expensive, and it's too expensive for me. But if you have the money, you can't afford it. Like Honey says, it really does work.
Yeah, and if you approach it like a business, then you can make money from it too. I mean,
You you
mine
could,
pretty
but
much pays for itself at this point.
right.
So, I don't see the product, so I'm not sure what it is.
Okay.
And I'll announce it on Telegram when maybe we can both do it on our Telegram channels when Frank tells us what it is. But I'm
You
gonna
know,
look up
honey,
that
honey,
other thing.
we should plan to get together with Frank and do something promotional for ASEA because I think
Yeah,
it's something that needs to be put out more into um, public view. Okay.
yeah, we'll do that. I lost that other one. I can't remember what it was called. Sono something.
Sona Bello, Bello.
Oh, it's
Meanwhile,
fat removal. Okay. Um, yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't feel good to me. It looks expensive. So there's another thing you can do. You can go to, there are these people that will actually massage it out. So you could also do that. Um, But the thing is that you're really hurting a lot of the veins and the cells and the stuff if you're really like abusing your stomach, the skin and everything. So you want to really think that through. Like you could get maybe a sauna blanket, or you could get into a sauna regularly. There's a lot of different things you can do, but for some reason that one doesn't feel good. Um, yeah.
Let me just tell people what I've been doing to lose weight, and it's really worked. I've cut all the carbs in my diet by one half to one third, basically. Like if I usually would eat this much rice, I now eat this much rice. Well, actually, I haven't been eating any rice, but breads, all the pastas, everything like that. High meats and fats. Like half of my caloric intake come from meats and fats, proteins and fats. Um, about 1,200 calories a day. We burn 1,500 calories a day just doing nothing. Okay. And then I walk for 30 minutes a day. So you do all that, and what you do is you're burning more calories than you're taking in, and you're just naturally going to lose fat. I realize it's easier for men than it is for women, but I'm over 60 now, and I've been losing about a pound and a half a week steadily. So it's just you have to stick to it, and it's not really
Yeah,
fun.
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. On weekends, I let myself have extra. Like I had, you know, pasta yesterday for dinner, but just on the weekends. And I cut the beer
I
down dramatically too. I was
Oh
drinking too
yeah,
much
that's
beer for a
pure
while.
pure sugar basically. Um, so here's another
Cerebello is
question.
liposuction, somebody says. Francine says.
Oh, no wonder
That's
I
not
got
good.
that answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You picked up on that right away.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Faye says, I feel my youngest son has had a walk-in after an NDE. So he had a near-death experience.
Oh,
I also feel like his walk-in is his first love who passed away before his NDE. Do you see that this is correct? I get yes.
wow.
Yeah. Um, let's ask this question. Are they there together? It feels like maybe they will be together in the same body. Um, that it's almost like he left, but he's coming back, like he's hovering. So that soul, there would be both of them in the same body so they can be together. So he's really going to be good at taking care of himself after this. I don't know if that was a problem before, but it feels like he's going to be better at self-care. Wow.
Yeah, it's funny. I've gotten that a few times in readings of like more than one soul in body. What do you call that? Braided, honey?
Yeah. Yep. Braided. And now what's happening is we're getting more pieces of our oversoul coming in. So more of your soul fractals. It's the same soul, but it's different versions of that soul. So you're getting more of that and you're becoming more full, more you're getting more gifts. And I think that's just part of the ascension process, and more of your soul wants to be here for that. So that's a big thing too, because people used to do that with quantum jumping. They'd try and get information from their parallel lives, and now it's just going to be in your body.
And have you noticed how many um, twin flame relationships have been coming together recently? I have so many of my clients that are dealing with twin flames, and I have to tell you, most of them are not fun.
No, they're not. And I don't know if they're coming together and being nice with each other, hopefully, because the twin flame relationship was kind of changed to the divine partner. So hopefully it's going better. That was probably a year ago that that happened. So people are probably resolving things at this point. But yeah, it was a Twin Flames was a rough go because that was like, I'm part of you, I'm your twin, and we're gonna fight, and that's how we're gonna learn. So it wasn't very fun.
I'm just going through my cards real quick, getting them back
Yeah.
to rights.
Okay, so Colleen's asking about her recent dreams. Yeah, your dreams are an indication of what you're doing. A lot of us are going to move. Dreams could also mean like if you're moving to a different house and it's bigger, then that would be like your consciousness is expanding. So really think about the symbolism from your dreams. And I feel like dreams are really important right now because people are learning how to interpret their own dreams and what the symbolism is. So really tune into it yourself and see what it means.
Oh, it's 10 o'clock already. Hmm.
Oh, okay. Um,
So I'm gonna let you choose one more question from the chat. Let me check my coffees, make sure I don't have anything hanging there.
okay.
And then I'm gonna do one final
Um,
reading for the collective for the week.
okay. So Francine said that she lost consciousness for 2 days. What happened?
Huh.
Did the reptilians take her? No, they don't exist anymore. Um, However, I feel honestly the first thing that came in is you got a massive upgrade and you could barely handle it. Like your body could barely handle it. So really work on integrating that by sun gazing and grounding and doing things that are really good for your body so that your body can start to express that upgrade. That was what was supposed to happen to us with the solar flash. And we did switch timelines with the solar flash and then it just kind of spread out. So we're constantly getting solar activity that's affecting the body. But we didn't get it all at once because I think it would have crashed society, honestly, if we had, because we would have all been in bed for a very long time. So I don't get that you were taken anywhere. Yeah.
So
And try and let go.
I guess the Super
Sorry.
Bowl is happening next Sunday. Is that true? Do you know? You probably don't know.
Probably. It's February. I don't know for sure, but
Okay,
it
so
probably is.
that has me thinking about the halftime show, and it's all this has been a day where more people are trafficked than any year, and there are sacrifices. Michael Jacobs connected the two air crashes that happened last week to the Super Bowl. I don't know if that's true or not. Um, but honey, are they still doing terrible things during the Super Bowl? And what about the halftime show? Do you have any insight into that?
It's disclosure. So the whole thing is going to be almost like a comedy of disclosure to us. And I don't think that for the last several years anything's been going on during the football at all, except for a bunch of fakery. Um,
Good.
yeah,
I
but it
appreciate
feels
that.
like it's really going to show a lot of stuff and look really crazy this year.
So anything we're getting now about these satanic rituals and sacrifices and all this stuff, what we're seeing now is a shadow of what used to be. It's not here anymore.
Mhm. Right.
Am I right?
Yeah, they have to show people what happened so that people can say no to it. And also so they can become more aware, like this is part of it playing out. so that the karma can happen and it's just done. Most of the karma's already happened. Most of these people don't exist anymore. So we need to keep that in mind.
And this would be another good reason why stop giving your energy to that type of pathway, that thought, you know. It's over.
Mhm.
That's for another audience, not for us. If you're watching this, we need to get past that. Anyways, so here we go. This is going to be one for the collective. What do we need to know? Those of us, everybody's watching here, will be watching in the rerun. Kind of a message does the universe have for us for the week that's coming up? Okay, this first card represents all of us, and it's the star. Wow, that's divine gifts. That comes to me right away. And Four of Pentacles. You know, I thought I'd just gone through and put all my cards to right, and look at that sun in the upside down position. The worst is behind us, everybody. That's why the sun is reversed here and it's in the past. And I told you, I just went through my cards and I wasn't paying that close attention, but I was trying to put everything to right. So this sun wanted to be upside down in this position of the past. This this is the black hats. The worst that could happen is behind us. It's in the past. We're safe. We're protected now in our homes and in our in where we are. Um, Now is the time for all of us to focus on all of the great gifts, these divine gifts that are starting to come in now more rapidly. Um, don't limit your imagination to what's possible for you to be capable of.
Yeah.
Detach from all the plans and things that are going on. So, you know, when you watch the news, when you watch world events, watch it. This is what I was saying before, from a detached point of view, from an elevated point of view. The Queen of Swords, she's way up in the clouds, and she's not allowing any of these things that happen on Earth to affect her heart chakra. Okay, so expect anything as far as like don't limit your possibilities of what could happen in your life for your divine gifts to come through. I'm gonna leave it at that. All
Mhm.
right.
I love that. Beautiful.
Okay. Well, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, honey. It's been great seeing you again.
Thanks for having me. It
I
was
felt
great.
really good about today. I just felt very connected to you today, so that's nice. And
Yep.
good, gonna be meeting you in person. I'm gonna make this happen. I'm putting all of my efforts into it. Hey, everybody out there, focus your attention on bringing down plane tickets, please. Because $1,500 right now, that's all the money I have, and I'm not ready to pay that. So, all right.
Yeah. Either that or trains.
Or getting on my teleportation pad. I'd love it.
Yeah. Oh,
All
did
right,
you see
honey.
the blimp? I'm going to share the blimp again on Telegram and I'll send it to you. It was the most hilarious thing. Okay.
Okay, no, I don't know what that is. So yeah, I'll look forward to that.
Okay.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here. I hope Honey and I have been able to help in some way, any little way. If you'd like a reading from me, I've made it as easy as possible for anybody. If you want to get a reading from me, $20 for 30 minutes. I mean, you're not going to find a better deal from a reader of any sort anywhere, I think. So I'd appreciate it if you just take a look at my website and good night.
Night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night, honey. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. You still there, Cherie?